What's good, fight fans? Your Majesty speaking. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, supposedly a done deal for December 19th, 2025. That's a little over a month away from now. I don't know what to think about it. Let me read this. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight is a done deal for Friday, December 19th, and what will be a real fight that will count in the record books. It's expected to be shown on Netflix, which is accessible to 301 million subscribers. The fight will bring in massive numbers due to Jake Paul's immense popularity. Just revealed the news of the Joshua versus Paul fight being officially done for December. Anthony Joshua is expected to get a massive payday. I'm skipping through this. Hearn states that AJ could match his highest career payday, which was 88.5 million in his rematch with Andy Ruiz. And so it seems like this fight will take place on Netflix to replace the Gervonta Davis Jake Paul fight. Except for this will be a real event and a real bout, which will the results will show on the box rec or the record, like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I would say I would much rather this fight than Jake Paul fighting somebody that much smaller than him. But I also will say that this fight should be a breeze for Anthony Joshua. And it makes sense that Jake Paul will go and get an Anthony Joshua or somebody who has that big of enough name, because I'm pretty sure if he has Netflix obligations or an obligation to Netflix to put on the fight, they were expecting, or probably should have been, or will be expecting, the turnout that a Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight would have done. So it only makes sense that Jake Paul would seek somebody big like Anthony Joshua to be able to fulfill what Netflix is probably expecting. However, I can't see this fight lasting more than 3 or 4 rounds if it's not rigged. Let me say that. Of course, there's been speculation of Jake Paul's fights not being real fights or being fixed, or whatever the case may be. And so I guess this will be a telling event that will let us know if the Jake Paul stuff is fixed or if it's real, because with Anthony Joshua being 6'6", 260 pounds, and a fighter who has been a real fighter and is not a fighter that's 68 years old, and I wouldn't say he's in his prime, but he's not far from his prime, this should be a breeze for Anthony Joshua. And if Anthony Joshua looks like he's pulling punches, or looks like he's trying to allow Jake Paul to survive, or whatever the case may be, then I think this fight will be a true testament for us to understand whether these Jake Paul fights are real or if they're fake. But I expect Anthony Joshua to go in here and take care of business and I don't really give a shit about how much Brady making or none of that. I really don't care. I never really care about that. I just want to see the fights. But I would much rather this fight over the Gervonta Davis fight, only because of the weight discrepancy. I'm not a bully. I don't like bullies, and I feel like the Jake Paul fighting somebody granted, I get it. Tank is a professional fighter and has been a real fighter since 8 or 7 or 6 or however the hell old he was when he started. And Jake is 6 years in. And so I get the experience deficit for Jake Paul being what is supposed to make up for the size of Gervonta Davis. But I don't like those type of fights. Of course, I would have watched it as a boxing fan just to see what was going to happen, or if Tank could overcome the David and Goliath thing, or whatever the case may be. But I would much rather Jake fight somebody at least his size. Now, I happen to think that Anthony Joshua is too big too close to his prime, too young, and a real fighter. And I just don't see it going well for Jake Paul. Like I said, unless it's rigged. But I think this is a much better look for Jake Paul. if he can win, if it's not rigged. But I guess I can't say he's a bully, because if he's willing to fight Tank and then he's willing to fight Anthony Joshua, you know, you can only say so much about him. But I just wanted to come on and give my thoughts on that fight. Let me know what y'all think in the comments about that fight. Y'all want to see it? You not want to see it? Do you think it's a much better fight for Jake to fight Joshua, or did you think it was a better fight for him to fight Tank Davis? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I drop future videos. Also, share the video. And if you have not followed my social media channels, please do so. They are in front of you. And until next time.